Our next guest of honor is New York City's first Chief Digital Officer, Rachel Sterne, who has been leading New York City's digital efforts, focusing on serving New Yorkers through digital media, through social media, through streaming streaming internet content, and supporting public and private partnerships with technology leaders, and I would add especially with the entrepreneurial community in the city that's so necessary for our economic future. She has been an instrumental leader in the movement to realize New York City's potential as a leading digital city. This is just some examples of some of the things that she's been up to in actually a fairly short time she's been on the job. Creating a strategy leadership for the City of New York's 100 social media managers, hosting Engage New York City, Social Media for Government, the first digital training summit for city employees, introducing the Social Media Advisory and Research Task Force, the acronym means SMART, fostering digital partnerships with Bitly, Facebook, Foursquare, Tumblr, and Twitter. By the way, a number of those are New York City-based companies, so for those of you who use them, you might actually realize we have an active internet business community in this city. Continuing support and advocacy for the New York City open data effort with hundreds of sets of public data produced by city agencies and other city organizations and making them available for citizens to use as they feel the need. Hosting New York City's first hackathon called Reinvent nyc.gov. For these activities, and hopefully more that bring the robust and diverse resources and expertise of our member libraries to the table, Metro is pleased to present Ms. Rachel Sterne and her colleagues with a special award recognizing their outstanding work fostering digital innovation in New York City. I just want to add a couple of things about this and the relevance of it. First, I will point out, we've probably been reading in the newspapers recently about the mayor's third-term blues. Rachel stands out as a shining light amidst all those third-term blues. And it's really one of the most imaginative and creative public officials that are in the city administration these days. And this is also relevant to Metro. We've had a lot of discussions. We had a strategic planning effort that went on a couple of years ago, and we've continued. One of the things that we've realized is that putting aside all the funding issues that we've had and the kinds of questions that we get from people who actually haven't been in libraries recently, the reality is that in the century that will be known for being the knowledge century, the century in which most people will be working in knowledge industries, the library and library services are an absolutely critical institution, both in the physical and virtual forms that they take. And so this is one of the reasons why, as an organization, Metro has not only helped people who are in the library profession understand how they can use these tools and help others use them, but we've also reached out to the larger community of knowledge workers, and that's one of the reasons why Rachel's here. And so with that little background in terms of some context here, I want to bring her up and ask her to spend just a few minutes with you to discuss her 90-day report that was published earlier this year called Roadmap for the Digital City, and also to give her award. So come on up. Sorry.
So thank you so much. I'm truly honored and humbled, and I think State Senator Oppenheimer was being modest. She has clearly done an enormous amount, but I am truly new, and truly you are the ones that deserve this award. But I am very happy to be here. Just as a bit of background, I loved libraries growing up. I continue to love libraries, and in researching the digital roadmap, really educated myself and realized how incredibly crucial they are to the city's digital future. And I'm just going to walk through a little bit of our digital roadmap. The roadmap had 3 parts. In the first part, we looked at where are we today as a digital city? In the second part, we looked at what do we need to accomplish to fulfill our potential, and in the third part, we laid out a strategy to actually achieve that, recognizing that in order to improve our performance and the quality of life for all New Yorkers, we need to be embracing new technology and innovating, and that's the way we'll create jobs and the way we'll find new ways to serve individuals across the city in new ways. And for those who are on Twitter, we have included the Twitter handles so that you can follow all of the different agencies. There are over 200 different social media channels, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook. And you can also find the full report online, of course. And I'm also just happy to assist those who are looking to find it. And you can find it at nyc.gov/digital. So our first question when we set out to create the digital roadmap was, what is our goal as a city? And something that helped us to ground our strategy was, I think, a great realization, which is, it's actually a quote from one of my colleagues at the Department of Transportation, which is that city streets are the original social network. So let's acknowledge that the groundwork has been laid long ago for successful means of engaging New Yorkers in the physical realm. So I think the real question is, how do we continue to fulfill and raise ourselves to the same standards that the city has in digital spaces that we've had in our physical spaces? As an example, today we have about 26 million people who visit nyc.gov each year. And in comparison, Central Park has about 35 million. We're going to start to see similar numbers visiting our digital spaces that are visiting our physical spaces, and we need to prepare appropriately. So the strategy that we laid out based on all of our research focused on 4 core elements, which are access, open government, engagement, and industry. And really, just very basically, access, as you all know, is crucial for people even being able to take advantage of these tools. So if we are building all these fancy applications and developing new technologies, if everyone can't get online and use them, then we won't have a successful civil society. So number one, when we started to put together our plan, we realized we needed to focus on making sure that everyone has access to technology, and equally as important, the training and education that's crucial to using those tools. And I was absolutely blown away in my research talking to the various library branches to learn about the wide array of training and programs that are available. The fact that there's free Wi-Fi in every single branch of every library system in New York City is incredibly crucial, that there are computers that are available, and that there are, most importantly, training sessions that allow people to learn how to use email, that are even supporting English as a second language individuals. These are groups that absolutely need to be using these tools. And first and foremost, incredibly crucial to lower income households, where we've seen that there's incredibly large percentage of individuals, this is the only way that they're able to get online, and it has become truly a crucial element. And as State Senator Oppenheimer was mentioning, it's crucial to economic development because such a large percentage of employers only accept applications online. In addition to that, the Broadband Technologies Opportunity Program, BTOP, which is federally funded and being implemented in various libraries across the city of New York, is helping thousands. And beyond that, also looking at some of the specific initiatives that are being implemented in the city, BTOP is also connecting, for example, 18,000 sixth graders and their families thanks to training and special education programs. Finally, there's also increasing Wi-Fi and connectivity throughout the city in terms of other connectivity initiatives, both in our parks at no cost to New Yorkers, and also in our subways increasingly. There is a pilot program that is underway and soon to be expanded. So libraries are absolutely crucial to access. The next step in our plan or our roadmap is open government. And that's truly making sure that we have complete transparency, that we are putting all of our resources at the fingertips of constituents so that they can make informed decisions. And again, something that is absolutely underscored by the libraries, by helping to produce more informed, more engaged citizens who can make better and better decisions and help shape their governments. So our question that we ask ourselves is, how can we view our city as a platform? So our physical city is already a platform for following your dreams, launching that business, for trying an artistic endeavor. How can we make sure that we are enabling that in the digital realm? And what we really want to do at the core of this is continue to support a model where it's not just consumption of services, but together we're working with constituents to develop solutions. And it's truly in a partnership in that way. As an example of how this technology has already been leveraged, I will give an example that some of you from New York City may be familiar with. So this is the power of open data. Not the most exciting of topics necessarily, but when you see what can be done with it, the equation certainly changes. So this is from our city's open data program. So you can go and get hundreds of open data sets. And this is just an example of, well, before someone has done any development on it, we had this interesting Office of Emergency Management hurricane evacuation zone files, which a couple of years ago you would have seen and thought, what a waste, who's going to ever possibly use something like that? Fast forward, and quick show of hands, is this image familiar to anyone? Okay, all right, so a few people recognize it. So basically during the Irene, the tropical storm, Hurricane Irene situation leading up to it, we had such a huge influx of traffic to nyc.gov that the website was down for several hours. But fortunately, because the data had been made available to the public, which includes media organizations, anyone could use it really free of charge, no terms at all. We saw that WNYC built this incredibly dynamic, interactive map that showed where the evacuation zones were. And they were able to serve the public with public data, but we didn't have to be the primary source. So we're able to decentralize the way that government is serving the public by making that data and that information available to anyone who wants it. And they also benefited as well, by the way, because they were one of the exclusive sources of this data and they doubled their previous traffic record that they had on election night the year before. And I'm sorry, the picture's a little bit warped on the presentation. So Reinvent NYC.gov. This was another initiative. As mentioned, this was the hackathon, but I assure you a hackathon is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. So in this context, hacking is a creative way of building new technology. And it's the term for, if anyone's seen The Social Network, that movie, you all get together in a room and you spend an intensive period of time building something new. So this is what it looked like. We did not supply the beers, those were their own, but other than that, it was a very fun communal event where people got together to reimagine nyc.gov, the city's website, which serves millions and millions but has not been updated for several years, for almost 10 years, the look and feel. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what the current website looks like. And just to show what's possible, we had over 100 people participate in the hackathon, working day and night from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Saturday, and then all Sunday, and then demonstrating for the judges their designs. And this is what they came up with. So these are the happy winners, and they were, in addition to their trophies, they were also thanked personally by the mayor. So these are some of the designs that they came up with, and these were fully functional, showing the importance of search, and again, the importance of information, really putting the user or the individual at the center of the experience and allowing them to find the information that's crucial to them, something that I'm sure is familiar to the librarians in the room. We also saw the development of various question and answer platforms. So people are looking to humanize the experience of working with city government, and this was one of the elements of that. And here's yet another one. So you start by asking, you ask a question, and you get an online response from either a New York City official or another citizen or a New Yorker can help you to solve your question. Third, we have engagement. So engagement is crucial. It's one of the things that my office works the hardest on, and that's really making sure that all of those different digital touch points, those different channels that allow the public to engage with the government are efficient, are catered to their needs. We're not organizing them necessarily the way that we organize ourselves as an organization. We're looking at what are the ways people are looking for information and how can we help connect them with that as soon as possible. So over 2.6 million people go to the website every month. And we have about 1.5 million people we're reaching through social media and email communications every month as well. So we start to realize it's not just about tweeting what you had for lunch when you're able to reach so many people in such a short period of time. And as an example of that, again, Irene, between official press conferences, the mayor was able to update thousands of individuals over the course of the event through things like Twitter updates, through YouTube and live video streaming online. And the result was that people felt, regardless of more sort of content or policy-driven issues, they were happy with the way the information was communicated, and that's what we're focused on. They felt connected, they felt informed, they felt like people were listening to them. And the numbers helped to show it. We had more than 30,000 new followers for the NYC Mayor's Office Twitter handle, so it was more than double their previous following. And we had 60,000 YouTube views, so that was a big help. But it's not just about emergency situations. We've also seen the importance of social media in things like Tumblr, which is a blogging platform. The Department of Transportation launched the Daily Pothole, which helped to bring to life their efforts to sort of numbers and illustrations that show how all of the roads across the city of New York are being fixed every day, demystifying and providing more information. In terms of public health information, the NYC Condom application and Facebook page has been extremely crucial and, yes, extremely popular in terms of educating thousands of New Yorkers in terms of health issues and public service campaigns. And 311, the city's customer service platform, which most New Yorkers are familiar with, up until now has been mostly phone, is bravely and really independently has been pursuing new ways to serve New Yorkers. So on Twitter, they have begun to respond to people asking them questions. And the result there is that every year, 311 serves 19 million people on the phone, individual transactions. But that's all private, and that's fine, and that will continue to go on as long as people want that service. But when people are comfortable asking their question online in a public forum, and 311 responds, the result is we start to get a public record, and we build up a knowledge base that other New Yorkers with similar questions can access, and it becomes very helpful. And in addition, we know that mobile technology is so crucial, especially to lower-income households and those who do not have broadband at home. And now we have 311692 is another way you can text in your questions to 311. We also have more mobile applications for smartphones than any other city. You can check out a few of them here. You can find them on nyc.gov/city apps, APPS. There are just a bunch of really great ones. The 311 app is great, and the You the Man app is also very good. That's for responsible driving, designated drivers, and it can help you find taxi service or limousine service anywhere you are in the 5 boroughs if perhaps you shouldn't be driving after a night out. Finally, industry. And again, as mentioned, in order to even pursue getting employment, the vast majority of employers only allow or only accept submissions online, so libraries, again, incredibly crucial there. As a city, we understand that every industry that you can imagine is being disrupted or will be disrupted by digital technology, and the mayor, for that reason, continues, and as he is the ultimate technologist and entrepreneur himself, and extremely aware of the value of information and how crucial it is to an informed society. The mayor is regularly welcoming those like Twitter, who recently, a couple of weeks ago, opened their New York City office. We also have the NYC Big Apps competition, which welcomes developers to use all of that open data that I mentioned before and gives them cash prizes for building new apps, which we feature on our city's website. As mentioned, we have the NYC Engage event. That was our first ever training event. If you would like to share those resources with your colleagues or just check them out for yourself, it's all on nyc.gov/digital. You look at NYC Engage, we've got all the presentations, whether it's from Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr. As a government organization, we have different ways that we have to use social media, and this conference was all about both demystifying and then providing the sort of do's and don'ts of working with all these different channels. So we're already there. How can we make sure that every single digital social media manager is really a digital ambassador for the city and helping to serve individuals in new ways? In addition, the city has plans for a new applied sciences, or new or expanded applied sciences facility. They've received applications from just a really impressive roster of higher learning institutions, including Stanford, Cornell, as well as Cooper Union, and many others from New York. And that is another way that the city is going to be really investing in that long-term strategy. So finally, don't worry about the hiring slide. That was actually for a slightly different purpose. But we do hope to continue this conversation. And I certainly want to make sure and convey that supporting digital connectivity through the libraries is an absolute priority. It's a key element of our digital roadmap. And I welcome anyone to really reach out to me to see how I can continue to support the wonderful work that you're doing every day. So thank you, and I'm very honored.
I'm going to add one more way that we can help that I mentioned to Rachel before, and that is on the open government efforts. It strikes me, I've seen a lot of these all over the country actually, and it strikes me that these could use some help from the folks in this audience who are trained as librarians, because what's needed goes back to the cataloging and reference skills a lot of you studied and still use. And so if anybody wants to help the city with this effort, please reach out to Jason, and we'll see how Metro can help the city.